There you go. Good afternoon. I'm Jessica Robinson, and I hereby call this February 16, 2026 meeting of the Staunton Planning Commission to order. The first item on our agenda this evening is approval of the January 15, 2026 meeting minutes. Any changes, comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I recommend that we approve the minutes of the January Planning Commission meeting.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve the January 15, 2026 meeting minutes as presented. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Kessinger?
Aye.
Mr. Hanson?
Aye.
Ms. Wiggin?
Aye.
Ms. Robinson?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. The meetings are approved as presented, and we now turn to our new business agenda. One item on the agenda tonight is a public hearing. After the staff report is given and the commission has the opportunity to ask staff questions, the applicant, they are the applicant, never mind. And then we will open the public hearing and give anyone in the public or on Zoom the opportunity to comment. We ask that speakers limit their comments to 3 minutes. Also, the public hearing is a time for the commission to listen to your remarks. In an effort to encourage and maintain orderly conduct, we will not engage in, give, or take debate. If you are seeking information, you may mention that during your remarks, and a member of the community development staff may get in touch with you in the coming days. All right. Item 3A is a public hearing and consideration of the City of Staunton, Virginia Capital Improvement Plan 2027 through 2031. And Jesse Moyers, Chief Financial Officer, will present the staff report.
Good evening, commission members. So this presentation is very, very similar to the one I gave at the introduction, which took place in January, but I will run through it again, highlight changes, and then you can ask me any questions that might be able to answer, or I can follow up with answers. I will give almost the exact same presentation next week, February 26th at the City Council meeting. I'll be introducing the CIP plan to them at that meeting. There is another work session April 2nd, and then hopefully it's adopted right along with the budget at the April 23rd, 2026 meeting. Once again, I want to highlight some of the new reserves. This one was put in after the Planning Commission approved it last year, but it came up during the budget process. And this is an infrastructure reserve that we are funding based on 2 cents at the 2025 real estate tax rate value. The first focus is on the tunnel repairs. So the money that went in there July 1st went toward the tunnel repair work that you see going on. Environmental sustainability and resiliency, that came out of the Staunton plan, the 2026-2028. We have proposed funding starting at $100,000 in FY27 and then building up to $250,000 by 2031. This is not new, but I just wanted to let you know it was a combination of new sidewalks, bike and ped and greenways to allow a greater flexibility when we are funding projects. The funding levels have not changed. Those are the same funding levels that the 3 had individually. They're just combined. Specific general fund projects, the Uniontown. We have the PER work going on and hoping to get the design underway encumbered this fiscal year so that we can start construction. I believe it's 2027 maybe to start construction.
FY28.
FY28. So July 27.
Halfway through 27.
Okay. The highlighted plan projects here, the Booker T. Washington, the Recreation Master Plan, revisioning downtown, and the development of the remainder of the JDR court sites. Those are directly out of the Staunton plan, the City Council adopted for 26-28. The other plans, most of those were in there, the prior CIP, the salt shed equipment, the equipment building for $350 that was added this year. We have a few VDOT administered projects. Nothing new that was added here since my last presentation to you.
Jesse, do you mind if I pause you there? Because I looked this up and all those numbers are like right from the VDOT plans and the UPC numbers, except the first one. It only showed me like 2.3 million or thereabouts. Is there a reason for that? Or maybe it's linking me to the wrong UPC or
I can follow up. I do not know for sure that
but
number. came
like
from
every
Lyle.
other one of those is like dollar for dollar right there in the, if you look it up and,
Mhm.
on the UPC, but that first one had a pretty large discrepancy. But also that first part's the VDOT funded part, right? Not the city funded part. So
The VDOT funded part is the
Okay.
4 million. I believe we had to, I thought we had canceled another project to add to that, or they found additional funding.
gotcha.
Um,
Okay,
But I will get you the answer for sure,
cool.
because the estimate had went up. And we had to find local funding to put toward it, but they were able to find a few more funds, but
Maybe
I'll let
that's
you know
what it
for
is
sure.
then. Okay, cool. Thank you.
This is the city's unfunded list, police station, fire station. Those are part of the study that we had done a few years ago. Fire station number 2 additions, that's from that same study. And then the Frontier Drive road improvements at 10.4 million and the streetscape projects from a few years back, 24 million. Water fund, we have annual water line replacements of 450. And then our next major project is the Richmond Avenue, Phase 1 in 2027, Phase 2 in 2029. Starting design in 2029, construction will not be until 2030. And then there are various tank paintings in there. And the North River Pipeline Study that was added this year. You'll see that's on the unfunded list, but we thought it was prudent to go ahead and get a study started because we know that is in our future. This is our unfunded list for water projects, almost 50 million. A little overwhelming when you look at it. Most of it is the North River pipeline replacement. That is our sewer projects. I do not believe anything has changed on there since I last presented, other than the 2.7 in 2031 will more likely be unfunded unless there are increases over the next few years that will help offset that and avoid issuing debt. There were some changes to the stormwater projects. The 2 projects in there, I believe it was the Staunton High School stream restoration and the Asylum Creek were removed because they did not provide enough benefit to meet the TMDL credits. So we have the flood plan that's for 26 and the workday lighting in 26. The Lake Thames is currently under design. And then the Green Hills is scheduled for 2029. Staunton City Schools, nothing has changed there since I introduced the plan in January. Most of this is maintenance type issues with HVAC generators, roof recoating, parking lot paving. And then there is their unfunded list, the SV Cal, Shelburne renovation, Dixon School renovation, and an operations facility. So are there any questions or anything that came up while you were looking through the plan document? Or-
I have 2 questions.
Please.
One's kind of just detail oriented and just the last year we created the project pages that provides a great summary of the project and the CIP. Those around the strategic goals of the Staunton City Plan were different than the new ones added this year. So I certainly don't think we need to waste time updating all of these every time the strategic.
I think we plan to do that. We just haven't done it yet.
Okay, well, I was wondering if there was an easier way to just maybe note that these were the strategic goals at the time this was
Sure.
added to the CIP.
I
So you
think
don't have to
Leslie-
update it every time.
Leslie had mentioned that and we hope to get those updated soon.
Okay, well, certainly if those slightly change every 2 to 3 years. I certainly don't want to go through the process of having to update this every time. I just wonder if there's a way to
Yeah, I'm not,
indicate the history of why the project was first added to the CIP. Certainly don't want to create more just administrative work. So that's just a little detail thing. And then the other one, just for my information, but when it comes before council, with the Uniontown utilities, do we believe we can accomplish those with the water and sewer fund, or do we think we'll need to utilize some of the specific Uniontown fund?
so water, yes. Sewer, hopefully.
Okay.
It really will depend on if we can get sewer rate increases passed in this year's budget. That fund balance is going to be a little tighter than water because, you know, we had some extra bond funds in the water because the Gardner Springs got funded with a grant after we were originally denied. And so that freed up about $5 million of those bond funds to use on other stuff. And so we have a decent water fund balance. Sewer fund is a little tighter. But yes, we think it will cover it.
Okay.
Kind of will depend on where we land with the rate. Because the cost estimate for sewer has now gone up to about 6.6 million.
Okay.
And that will require us to dip into our facility fee reserve. We kind of haven't touched those ever. That's where you pay a facility fee when you get an initial hookup and it gets set aside for future capital. We will be using that for that purpose.
Specifically for utility hookups?
Yeah.
So we
It's-
have a whole separate reserve just from
Well,
that revenue?
yes.
Okay.
Yep. It's part of what's available to use for capital.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, I'll enter.
You want to open the public
Madam-
hearing?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Put my glasses back on. So I will now open the public hearing, and if there are any speakers, I ask you please come to the front to the podium and begin by stating your name and address before you give us your comments. Is there anyone on Zoom?
No.
With that, I will close the public hearing now.
Madam Chair, I move that the Planning Commission recommend adoption of the City of Staunton Capital Improvement Plan fiscal years 2027 through fiscal year 2031.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, the Planning Commission recommend adoption of the City of Staunton, Virginia Capital Improvement Plan 2027 through 2031. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Hanson,
Aye.
Ms. Wiegand,
Aye.
Mr. Kessinger,
Aye.
Ms. Robinson.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The capital improvement plan has been recommended for approval and the matter will be heard by City Council, I guess, a public hearing in April.
It's not a public hearing.
Okay,
This is the only public hearing on the
okay,
capital improvement plan.
all right. The agenda doesn't show any old business. Has that changed?
No, ma'am, no old business.
All right. Then we will turn to item 5, other business, specifically item 5A, consideration of amendments to the bylaws of the Staunton Planning Commission related to the appointment of a clerk and to presentation of items. Mr. Hartless, Planning Manager for the city, will present the staff report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Moving forward, the city will no longer have a dedicated position known as Clerk of Council. The responsibilities of that position have been divided out among multiple staff members. And the Community Development Department will now be responsible for clerking the various boards and commissions that we help the staff, such as Planning Commission, Historic Preservation Commission, Board of Zoning Appeals. So Ms. Nesselrod, our zoning administrator, has agreed to serve as the clerk of the Planning Commission. But to do that, we need to amend our bylaws because currently our bylaws state that the clerk will be the city clerk. So I have gone through the bylaws. I've identified all of the references to city clerk, and I've replaced those with either clerk or clerk of planning commission. Also, I have proposed some changes that would memorialize some of the things that we're currently doing as policy related to the conduct of meetings. One of them is our policy that the applicant be given 10 minutes before the public hearing to make a presentation. And the other would be that each speaker during the public hearing is allocated up to 3 minutes to make their comments. So with those changes, staff is recommending that Planning Commission approve these amended bylaws.
Do any of the commissioners have any questions for Mr. Hartless?
Those two additional changes, were they, they weren't rules before, they were more just guidelines?
Yeah, they weren't officially, rules. There was a policy or a guideline that the planning commissioners had agreed upon in the past.
Two thoughts, neither of which are groundbreaking, but or earth-shattering, maybe a better way to say that. If it's, you guys put in there that the clerk need not be reappointed each year, but we have to vote on a new chair and a vice chair every year. It kind of feels like, again, it's more of a housekeeping thing to say, shouldn't we be voting on the clerk every year too? Again, it probably isn't the biggest deal in the world, but it just sort of seems like that would be more in line with, hey, we're redoing the officers or something. But again, I'm not going to fall on my sword over that either, to be perfectly blunt about it. The other one, and I do like the concept of defining the 10 minutes and the 3 minutes. Part of me would like to, and I'm certainly willing to listen to some other thoughts too. Part of me would like to see something in there that this is a guideline and not a steadfast rule, because there are times I feel like when we want to hear more and could, and at the discretion of the chair, allow somebody more time. Again, there's a part of me that says, hey, this is the rule and we have an enforceable rule now, versus, I mean, I still think that people speaking can be up to the discretion of the chair regardless in some ways. But if somebody's sort of rambling on and on and on like I am now, she has a right to stop me.
Your
know what
3
I'm
minutes
saying?
are up.
My 3 minutes might be up, but I don't know. I guess that's just, I do like the concept of providing some flexibility, but if we can just do that at our own discretion, so be it also. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. And if you all wish to do that, I can add that phrase to that sentence as well, that at the discretion of the chair, or I can add something afterwards that says, the chair may have the discretion to allow a speaker more time if necessary or appropriate.
So on the other side of the coin, I mean, I think the purpose of the rule is to be consistent.
Sure.
And so if you're allowing discretion in one case and not another.
Sure. And I'm also okay with the thought process of, we have a rule that allows the chair to some teeth to say, stop talking. But again, sometimes people run a little over and it just is. You know what I'm saying?
We're just sort of polite about
But
it.
exactly. So that's what, again,
I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
we're to the like buzzer.
Or the hook.
ooh, I like a hook. That sounds good.
Council's 5 minutes. If you feel like 3 is not enough, we could match matters from public.
Yeah, I mean, we could do, yeah, if you don't.
Could we have something whereby at the discretion of the clerk at the chair at the beginning of the meeting, if we know this is a complicated issue, and that means, of course, we'll probably have 25 people who want to speak, and the difference between 3 minutes each and 5 minutes each means we have cornflakes. If for the 5 minutes, we're all here for breakfast. But the point is maybe have the chair some discretion to allow everybody instead of 3 minutes, 4 minutes. And encourage people as you have before to stop sooner by just saying, I agree with the previous speakers, particularly about X, and they sit down after 30 seconds. So we may have some extra time in there.
I think we should mirror whatever council does. Whatever the rule, I mean. Then we're handling all
My
of
only
our
concern
public.
with a mixed approach or dependent on who shows up is we have a packed house, but not everyone's going to speak. We almost need a sign up like school board does if we're going to go that route. So we know, which I don't think I don't know. I'm not in favor of doing a sign up.
And even when you have a sign up, there's sometimes people at the end who've decided they want to speak after they hear something. So you can end up. We've often said to people, if it's already been said, just say you agree with that and go on and pick your next concept or talk about the next thing that's of greatest importance to you or something. And
I can amend my little spiel to include that. I mean,
might be, as most of our issues, very few of them really require more than 3 minutes. Could we have it so that if at the beginning of a meeting, we have something where we really suspect that the
I don't
commission
love-
can vote to extend everybody's to 4 minutes or 5 minutes?
I don't love that because it's just saying this issue is more important than an issue where we don't. Do
I
that.
say more complicated. Anyway, I hear you.
Right.
I agree.
I mean, I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. I'm
I mean, I'm happy to be outvoted, but
No, I think you're right. I'm fine with the 3 minutes and let's see how it works. Have a problem, we can come back later and decide to up
make
the
Tim
amount.
amend it again. He loves to do that. No, I think that, I mean, we've been doing 3 minutes and that seems to be working, but I do think that's a good idea, like the initial thing, especially on nights when it's really, we're going to have a lot of speakers to say, if someone else has already said what you wanted to say.
To answer Mr. Hansen's first question about voting on the clerk, the idea is that the clerk's a semi-permanent position. Linda will be clerk until she retires, which
She
will not
hopes
be,
not.
which will not be until I retire.
Which none of you are retiring until I retire. And I mean from my job, not this job.
Is there, and again, it's probably not the biggest deal in the world, but is there, and I didn't read far deep enough into it maybe, where it allows for a substitute person in the event that Linda might want to take a break or a vacation at some point?
It does. It says in the absence of the clerk, then another member of staff,
Okay.
either community development or another department, can serve as clerk pro tem.
Gotcha.
If you get a City of Stanton paycheck, you're eligible.
Be careful what you sign
I'm
up
gonna send
for.
around a sign-up sheet.
Should I put us out of our?
Clerk and chauffeur.
Anything else, Mr. Hanson?
I think I've caused enough trouble. Thank you.
Never.
Okay. Madam Chair, I move that the Planning Commission adopt the amended bylaws.
I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded that Planning Commission adopt the amended bylaws. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Wigand,
Aye.
Mr. Keziker,
Aye.
Ms. Robinson,
Aye.
Mr. Hanson.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. The amended bylaws have been adopted.
Thank you.
May we have an update on the actions of City Council since our last meeting, please?
Certainly. I have one update. At its meeting last week, February 12th, City Council approve the rezoning of the Dunsmore Business College property, 912 West Beverly Street. And that was a rezoning from R4 high density residential to B5 mixed use conditional. And they approved it just as Planning Commission had recommended.
Are there any matters from the public? No. Is there anyone online with their hand raised?
No, ma'am.
All right. Well, then before we adjourn, two of our fellow commissioners, Mr. Kestner and John Hutchinson, have resigned and are leaving us. And I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank them for their service, and thank you so much. You have added a lot, and your institutional knowledge is greatly appreciated, and you will be missed.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And we hope you come back sometime.
Related news, he's announcing a city council run now.
Yeah. I'd like to take this opportunity.
Oh, all
The
right.
things that get left out of the minutes here.
And then our next planning commission meeting will be March 19, 2026. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, everyone.